Hey everybody, welcome to what is this? Where am I? What you're
Where
not
are you?
Barry.
That's a good question.
You're not Brad. Where are you? Who are
You're
you?
not Charlotte. What is this? What's happening right now?
No, she's a lot better looking than I am.
Oh, I will remain unaffiliated in that argument. Hey, Taco, how have you been doing? What have you been up to?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good. It is Thanksgiving Eve. Been getting some work done, both for me and for work. Everything's going good. I'm ready to get on the road and go visit family after a while. What about you? You got any big Thanksgiving plans?
Well, we did our big Thanksgiving last week at my dad's and then stepmom's family. We kind of merged those two and just do that a week early so that people don't have conflicts. And then I'm going to my mom's tomorrow for Thanksgiving. So I'm just here trying to wrap up some work and get ready for the long weekend.
Good deal. So this is kind of a another crossover episode. We haven't done one of these in a while. I think the last time you and I did one was about a month before Bonnaroo last year, where we were just kind of talking shop and everything.
Yeah, it's been at least that long. And of course, this week, Brad was in town last week, and we got to hang out and do some stuff there, but we didn't get to record anything. And this week we're all just kind of too busy to get a episode out, so we can hop on and talk shop for a little bit.
There is a lot to talk about. There's been a lot going on with two different AMAs and a couple of small pieces of news and changes. Like, I'll give you an example. I just saw a tweet 5 minutes ago before we started recording this that they actually dropped the price of VIP tickets.
Oh, did they? I
Yeah,
knew they dropped the GA ticket price, but that's good.
well, apparently it was a change just today. The VIP ticket went from $9.99 to $8.99. So that's kind of cool, I guess.
That's a huge drop. All right. Yeah. Well, and we had Corey and Brad from C3 on episode a couple weeks ago, and they kind of gave us the outline of what they were planning on changing, and then yeah, we released that, and then they did the two AMAs, one on Instagram, one on Discord, and I don't know. What do you think? Do you think people are receptive to the changes? Do you think it was explained well enough?
I think so. I like how they're doing this. So one problem that I think that there has been in the past couple of years was there wasn't a lot of great communication from the people running Bonnaroo to the community. I mean,
Yeah.
let's not spend too much time thinking about the dark days in 2021 when we didn't really know if we were even going or not because
Oh, I
of
know.
everything happening. That was rough, but I think they're really making up for it these days with these AMAs with the two guys that you talked to on your show, and then Roofus, who has been causing chaos everywhere, apparently.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think they recognize that they they didn't handle everything so great, and for whatever reason, so they're making an effort to try to win some of that trust back from fans, and kind of right the ship, as it were.
Yeah,
Seems like
exactly.
it's working.
I love how transparent they're being. I listened to the thing with Brad and Corey last night on the Festiverse Discord. We can talk about that in a moment. But
Yeah.
they spent more than an hour talking with everyone and being totally upfront and honest with their answers. Like, some people had some pretty tricky questions for them about this new VIP area that you know very well because it's the former spot of Camp Nut Butter.
Oh, that's the former Platinum campground, and that's Area 931, which we can talk about. I missed the Discord AMA. I had dinner plans, so I was hoping it was recorded somewhere to go back and listen, but I can't. I don't see that there's a recording of it.
I don't know if they did or not, but Charlotte and I were on for the whole thing. There wasn't really anything like earth shattering that Rufus hadn't already talked about on the Instagram thing.
Yeah,
Um,
the Instagram one was good.
that was good. I think in both AMAs, they were really just clarifying stuff. And I think they wanted to hear questions from people so they could know what to better communicate that they hadn't anticipated already.
Yeah, because it's a big change, and I think they haven't even figured all this out yet. I think they're still working through the nuts and bolts, and part of that is, getting some early feedback, and maybe that informs how they uh, implement some of this. So yeah, it's definitely work in progress.
Yeah. I spoke with Brad and Corey kind of at the top of the call, and I had a couple of questions that I'd have been thinking about. I asked what they were thinking in terms of jam tracks improvements for this year. It was a great concept that worked great most of the time at Bonnaroo last year. It had some problems, but it was the first time they were doing it, and there's always
Yeah,
going to be bugs, you know. I mean, you open Disney World for the first day, some things are not going to work right. It's totally understandable.
sure.
And
Yeah.
I asked if they would be running it in both directions. And basically, what that means is it would be going clockwise and counterclockwise around the camps, which apparently now we have to call it outeroo. I'm still wrapping my
Outer.
yeah. It sounds like some kind of underwear or like pajamas to me. I'm still wrapping my head around it, but it's cool. I do like
Yeah, it's neat. I wonder if this is going to be like a pod situation where most everyone refuses to call them pods and still call them plazas.
the plaza thing
Or
has been something I've gotten used to, but I still call it pods every now and then by
yeah,
accident, you know. But I like Outeroo. It's clever. It's cute. At first, I was like, "What?" But after a couple of days, I'm like, "Yeah, it's grown on me. It makes sense." But anyways, Brad talked about like how they weren't entirely sure yet if they would have it going in both directions because that would be super helpful. One problem that we noticed last year is because it only ran in one direction. By the time it got to some of the stops that were right before the arch gate, it was filled up and it could never pick anyone up over at some of the
oh,
other camps. Yeah.
so you just have to wait for it to loop back around, which could take another
Yeah.
10 minutes or so. Yeah,
But
I never got a chance to ride it.
it's cool. It's basically one of those John Deere Gators with like a lot of trailers behind it. It held,
Yeah,
I'm going to say 30 to 40 people. It's hard to remember. But it's a great concept. Now I'm glad that they're bringing it back and they're working on improving it. Rufus did say that they're going to have more shuttles or spaceships, as he called it. So
spaceships.
basically,
Yeah.
more of the. I mean, that makes sense. That's a great idea.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm biased, but I love that everything is space themed this coming year. That's going to be fun.
Yeah,
It,
and I love Corey's explanation of that. He and his marketing person from C3 were kind of just chilling at the Herbie Hancock show drinking wine, and then they just had this idea, well, you know what, why don't we just name everything, and they come up with a space theme. So it's yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, they've had Cineru forever, so
it makes
why
sense.
not have
Yeah.
something?
There was another thing that I asked them about on the AMA too. I wanted to know if they could do more to support fan activations and events out in the campgrounds. Of course, we do our thing, but I really want to help encourage more Bonnaroovians to hold events. Like I told them, for example, about 3 years ago, before the pandemic and everything happened, there was a girl that wanted to organize Promaroo. So she wanted everybody to
Yeah.
like fancy dresses and they would have dances and everything, you know. That would have been fun. That's an out of left field, totally weird idea that I loved. And last year there was a girl that wanted to have a toy exchange. There's all kind of stuff that happen, even outside of the group
Hmm.
area where most of that stuff happens. So they are open to the idea of supporting that more.
Good. Well, they should. I mean, other than just some logistical support, maybe it's pretty much hands off for them. So it's like, why not? What? Yeah.
Well, that's the case for us with our deal on Tuesday and Wednesday. All they have to do is give us the space and we handle the rest. So it's kind of free work for them, free
Yeah.
program.
I
They don't
mean,
have to
yeah,
pay.
they get the benefit of it, and you put in the work.
It's fun work, but it is work. I don't mind it
Yeah.
at all. Though. So tell me, did anything jump out at you from Rufus's AMA? There was a lot that answered your questions about 931, wasn't there?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people were asking, myself included. So if you're in area 931, but if every is it open? Can anyone just walk back there? And the answer is no. You're going to be getting a separate Centeroo entrance that goes directly to that backstage campground, which, if you don't know, it's basically right behind the witch stage
It's
across the
pretty like
street.
it's pretty like wooded and shady back there, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's a
That's
life.
for years that's where guest camping was, and that's where we were with Camp Nut Butter, and it was pretty much intended for just like guests of artists and media and sponsors. So it was very exclusive, and you can't beat the shade. I mean, the amount of trees and the access, because I mean it's just right there, right behind the witch stage. So yeah, so we're a little salty, as you can imagine, that we got kicked out, but it makes perfect sense because they realized this is primest real estate on the farm, and they could be selling it.
You guys talked about it too much. They realized that they could profit off of it.
I know we should have kept it a secret,
You
but
kept that to yourself, man.
yeah.
A lot of the discussion on the Discord AMA was about 931 last night too. I think that's one of the bigger hurdles that they have in terms of like communication. There's still a lot of confusion about it. For instance, they talked about how jam tracks would be running back there to give people rides out into the campgrounds, but it's true.
I don't see.
It's
I mean,
because it has to use that production road that
yeah, that's production road that is the perimeter of Centeroo basically, and goes all the way backstage behind where all that stuff is. So, I mean, I guess that would be cool. I mean, that would mean because we're in media camp, I guess we could ride Jam Track.
So now you have no excuse to not come visit me if you can take that little train or the space.
Yeah, we usually have to get a golf cart. And I did come visit you. I was there,
I know.
Wednesday night?
You came
one of those nights.
Times. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know it's a hike because
it's such a long walk, man.
You guys are even further now. You're like kind of behind the what stage where media and guest camping is?
Yeah, we're just kind of adjacent to 931. So we can, which is even worse because from where we're camping, we can see across the field all those people in that nice shady area. So kind of not fair. But we're a little more behind the what stage, but it's the same amount of time to walk into Centeroo.
Well, that's cool. Well, if you can take that train, you guys can get out more to the campground stuff. And I do think that is important for like media and guests to come to the campgrounds because right now they're making such a big deal out of Outeroo. Maybe I just made a pun there. You should be able to come to cover it because like for your What podcast, for Consequence of Sound, for like all these other publications that are back there. Like Bonnaroo,
I agree. I mean, yeah. Why wouldn't they want
Bonnaroo anymore? Like half of the action is out in the campgrounds.
Yeah. The other strange thing about 931 is it's Thursday entry only, right?
Yes, and we aren't. I don't want to use the word perturbed or annoyed, but we're trying to work with them to see if the people who want to come to 931 and also come to the Wednesday Roofus party are able to do that. So if they're forced to wait until Thursday, then they're crap out of luck for coming to our party with whoever we're going to host. So
yeah, and that's why I wasn't sure.
We'll see,
because we were told media couldn't come in until Thursday, so I wasn't even sure that I would get in Wednesday for the pre-party or not.
Now, let's talk a little backstage stuff without talking too much. You come in a different entrance. We used that same entrance this past year because we were, hosting some events and we had to come in without all of the, hoopla and everything. So maybe that's the reason that they sequester it to specific days. I don't know.
That's fine. I still got in Wednesday. They didn't care. I just said, I'm here to pick up my credentials, and I said, "Can I get back there?" And they're like, "Sure." But like I said, when I showed up, they didn't know what to do with me. Nobody turned me away, but they just kept saying, "Well, just going up a little further, and somebody up there will tell you where to go."
Well, talk eventually, because I don't know what to do with you.
Yeah, no one does. But eventually, they found the guy, and they got me escorted back to media camp.
I have to be honest. I kind of enjoy the small degree of anarchy that we had at Bonnaroo this past year. Security was just fine. There wasn't any troublemakers. There wasn't anything dangerous or insane that happened. But it being like a couple of notches lower than it had been in past years was appreciated. I don't want to. It was
definitely looser. Yeah. And yeah, I know I definitely got into some areas that I probably wasn't credentialed for, but it worked out.
I wasn't there, but I've heard from friends who made it into the artist area accidentally.
Well, yeah, one of our campmates.
Yeah.
Sean Stewart, who's from Chattanooga, and he's part of Camp Nut Butter. He came this year just on a GA pass, but since he knew where we were camping, he just kind of walked his way back there, and since he knew what he was doing, nobody really stopped him. So. Yeah, if you kind of know where to go, I mean, it was definitely easier to get around.
Well, one of the golden rules is never ask for permission, always ask for forgiveness.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you act like you're supposed to be somewhere, chances are they're just going to be like, okay.
Carry a clipboard. Look important.
Yeah, look important. Yep.
All right, Taco. Hey, I wanted to get into some other stuff. So You and I get to talk shop every now and then because we both have weird buses of different sizes and different types.
Yeah,
How's yours these days? What are you working on?
the engine's out of it, and back in July, the it locked up on me on the interstate. I lost power, and then the oil light came on, so I pulled over, and it was pretty much dead. I mean, it lost its oil and wouldn't turn over, so I had to get it towed, and subsequently we pulled the engine, and it's gonna need a rebuild, and it's taken me a while, but I found a shop in St. Louis, Missouri, that can rebuild it all brand new. So that's the plan. We're gonna drive it up to St. Louis once he's ready, and he's gonna rebuild it brand new. And it won't be cheap, but I think this will be the last engine, hopefully, that I need, because this is its third engine so far.
Well, I know this story. We've ridden on the struggle bus before too when we had to make some fixes on the fuel system. Do
Yeah,
you have a timeline in mind? Because that was the problem I ran into when we had to have the fuel line changed out on the route bus. It was pushing up against June a couple of years.
yeah.
How about for you?
Well, he's a little ahead of me, but I'm on the list, and so I think probably by mid-December we can take it up there. And then I think it won't take him more than a month to get it rebuilt, and then we'll go back and get it. So I'm hoping it should work out. If we can get it back in by, say, March, that should be plenty of time for
Yeah.
Bonnaroo.
Well, you and me both know it takes a lot of time to prep this in terms of cleaning it, packing it, making sure that everything's good to go.
Yep. I mean, I try to keep mine packed at all times, but yeah, there's definitely extra stuff to pack. But
So
I
when it
think
is working good, you're just ready to party and drive at the drop of a hat.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'll go anywhere. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to work out timeline wise to get it back and get it put back together and running in time for Bonnaroo. I hope.
Well, good deal. I've been trying to get you to come to some things, but you're always like, nope, not without the bus.
I got no bus. I can't go.
You have other vehicles though.
I have other vehicles. I don't want to sleep in them.
Oh, I understand. Okay. I do get that. I
Yeah.
am spoiled too with the big comfy king size bed in the back of the bus.
Oh yeah. I'm not sleeping in a tent.
You know what? I'll tell you though. I slept in a tent at different kind of festivals 2 times this past year, and I hadn't in a long time because we were always in the back of the bus. I realized that I actually missed it. I personally enjoy the challenge of roughing it like that.
I don't.
It's fun. Like in Okeechobee, the weather was pretty good. I got a little cold in 2 or 3 nights, but it was fine. It didn't get like blazing hot in there. And then when we camped at Burning Man, it's a different type of heat. It's not the southern humid heat. It's more like the dry desert heat. So
Oh
it
yeah.
was tough, but tolerable. And I actually enjoyed it. I sometimes want to get out of the DIY VIP of driving a big converted hippie bus, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, if that's the case, I would just stay home. But
Well, do you want me to tell you what's going on with our bus?
yeah.
So, for about 2 or 3 years now, the engine and the fuel line has been running great. We had a new pump put on it, a new fuel line put on it. I get good power. She'll go up hills. It's just a little slow, but she makes it. The problem these days is the electrical. It's an annoying problem that I can get around. It's not like a game breaking problem. I always have to like charge up the battery or get a jump to start it these days,
Hmm.
which it kind of sucks, but I know I can get it going. It's not a big deal. As long as we've had it, there's always been some sort of electrical gremlin that us or nobody else has been able to figure out. Once it cranks, I can play music loud. Everything's good. I can turn on all the lights. It's good. But if it sits there a day or two, I got to jump it. I don't know what's happening. I've never been able to figure it out.
You've got to draw somewhere. Something's drawing power off that battery.
Well, I'm shutting it off. There's a bank of 2 batteries, and there's a switch to turn the whole thing off. I turn it off as soon as I'm done driving it. Something still sucks up the juice. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to pin down when you've got something like that happening.
I don't know, but it's okay. Like I said, it's an annoying, solvable problem. It just takes a
Yeah.
little work every time. It's all right. I ran it this.
Yeah, I'm gonna while the engine's out, I'm gonna like change out the fuel lines, change out the battery, like the aux battery, new clutch, like just some stuff that's easier to do while the engine's out. I got to change the fuel sender for the gas tank, and but I'm excited. I think this engine. I mean, I got recommended to it by a buddy of mine. He goes by Nugget Bus
Nugget
77, I
bus.
think. Yeah,
Yeah.
on Instagram. He's got a bus, and this guy built his engine, and he lives out of it most of the year.
Oh
And
yeah.
so he's put a ton of miles, and he just loves it. He said he's driven it to like 41 different states, 3 countries,
Wow.
and he's never had an issue. So I will never put that many miles on it for sure. But if he's getting that kind of uh reliability out of it, I'll be set for life. I think
So what year is his? Do you know?
77,
Yours is newer, isn't it?
78,
1 year.
one
Wow.
year.
For some reason I thought
Yeah,
it was an 80 something. I love
no,
your
no.
bus. I love what you've done on the interior too. You got like good sound in there and cool lighting. It's very welcoming and homey up in there.
Yep. And a lot of the interior, like the plaid and the cabinets and all that, that's original. And so I wouldn't dare change that because I like it. But I like to upgrade a little bit with some modern stuff like the speakers and the lights, and you know, it's pretty neat. But yeah, it's definitely 70s, because in the 80s, that's when they came out with the Vanagon,
Hmm.
which is what my buddy Kyle drives. That we had him on the show to talk about EDM a while back.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, Taco. We're going to do another couple of things here before we sign off in a little bit. I think we're going to do a couple of different picks. So we do the weekly picks on our show, but I want to do something a little bit different first. We're
Hmm.
going to have a lineup first or second week of January. Both Rufus and Corey and Brad confirmed that.
Yep.
So maybe we're in the middle or the tail end of rumor season. Of course, me and you don't know who's going to be playing. We have some strong suspicions, but I want to hear.
I Yeah, I have no exclusive information. I don't have any insider things, so I can't drop any
I don't
hints or anything.
I don't want to
Yeah.
talk about that today. What I do want to talk about is what do you want to see? Like, do you have a couple of acts that's on your wish list that you hope is on the lineup next year?
Yeah, there's a couple, and I don't know that we would ever get them, but I would think maybe Tears for Fears would be really good.
Did we have them some time ago? I can't
I
remember.
don't know. I don't know.
I want to say we did, like about 2015. I'm gonna have to like look this up. You're ringing a bell for me. I want to say we had them once.
Maybe. But they're back together. I mean, the band was still together, but they had split up. But now they're back together. They've got a new album out. I don't know. I could see them as the legacy act.
It would be a good one. All right. Well, I'm looking that up. Tell me another one that you want to see.
Um, I have an idea for a super jam, which I
Ooh.
think would be a lot of fun. I would love to see Pet Shop Boys come out and do a super jam.
That would be amazing. Aren't they active again? I saw like some TikToks or something.
I don't know. I have seen a video. There's a video on YouTube of them at some awards show or something, and they're just doing a medley of their songs. And they kept bringing out special guests. They brought out Brandon Flowers. They brought out Lady Gaga, and just
Wow.
all these people. Like I could see them like really having a fun super jam party and just bringing out surprise guests. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I had a suggestion for a super jam that I don't know if it would ever work or not. But, Steve Martin is an incredible banjo player. He
Hmm.
plays with a couple of bluegrass bands and does some solo stuff. I think it would be cool to have like a Steve Martin bluegrass super jam.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
have a lot of his friends that have played with him over the years, and he just kind of cuts up and does a little stand up in between songs or something like that. I don't know if that would ever work though. He's getting on up there and doesn't do as much anymore.
Yeah. Well, Barry would love that for sure.
I know him and I talked
Yeah.
about that a little
Uh-huh.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Charlotte and I watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles last night. That's her annual Thanksgiving tradition. That movie is
It's
so
a great
it
Thanksgiving movie.
holds
Yeah.
up. Yeah. All right, you got any other wish list bands?
Not really. I mean, of course, to me, the lineup is not the top of my list. I mean, I want it to be good,
Yeah, same.
but
I mean,
I'm pretty much okay with anyone.
there's a handful of things that I want to see, but I'm just there for the party. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people joke that, oh, if it was Nickelback and some guy DJing out the back of his truck, they would still be there. But he still wants some good stuff,
I mean, you still want it to be quality, and you want some, and whoever it is, you just want them to put on a good show.
Yeah. I'm down for whatever. By the way, I looked it up. Tears for Fears did play Bonnaroo 2015. I was right.
Ah, okay. Well,
I found their
I
set.
think it's time. Found their set list. I think it's time for them to come back.
They opened up with Everybody Wants to Rule the World. They got the hit
Of
out of the way
course.
first. They
Yeah.
played a cover of Creep by Radiohead,
Oh, really?
which
Okay.
sounds very interesting from them. I wasn't at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, for
Um,
me, I mean, I would love to see a bunch of these bands that have played because I didn't go, and my first year is 2018. So, I mean, I know y'all have seen like Radiohead play and Billy Joel, and all these people that we're probably not going to get back, but
yeah.
I would like to. Blur is another one I would like to see come to the
Now,
farm.
Damon Albarn was there a number of years ago when he had a solo project where it wasn't even really Gorillaz. It was just his name as the project. And
Okay.
that was great. He had a really good backing band. I think he played some Blur songs. I came in halfway through that set because we were coming through from something else, and he
Mhm.
played two Gorilla songs. That was fun. But yeah, that would be
Yeah.
great. Um,
Anything Blur and Gorillas, I think, would be super popular.
I think he's getting Blur back together. They're playing shows again, so
Yep.
that's possible, I suppose. All right, so my wish list. First of all, I'll give you my unattainables, ones that we probably won't get anytime soon, if ever.
Dolly.
Well, that's a given. Everybody wants
Yeah.
Dolly. What's funny? I don't think it's likely that we're ever going to get her, but I think if we were going to get her this year, seems possible. Like she seems to have a
uh,
lot going on right now.
yeah, the planets are aligning for that to happen if
Like
it were to happen. I don't
she's
know, but
doing New Year's with Miley on a TV
mhm,
special. She was just put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She says, "Well, I guess if I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame, I better do a rock record."
that's right.
She
And
said that she doesn't really want to tour, but she's okay with doing festivals.
well, yeah, she wouldn't have to go far for this. I mean, we're
Down
right
the
in our
road.
backyard. Yep.
So I'm not saying that I think it's going to happen. I'm just saying the stars seem to be coming close to alignment these days. You know,
Yep. Lightning could strike. You don't know.
uh, the other big one for me is I want Gaga on the farm one of these days. I think she would
Yeah.
just absolutely slay
Yeah,
that.
I think that's another one. Everyone can pretty much agree on that.
If she came, like her show would be perfect for a giant headlining event at the What Field. With Charlotte and I were lucky enough to see her when she played the arena in Atlanta about 5 or 6 years ago.
Hmm.
It's the most Bonnaroo thing ever because everything is trippy and wild and over the top. It would just be an absolute perfect fit.
It's a great fit.
So we'll see. Realistically, for this year, I'm kind of hoping that we get the Flaming Lips because they haven't been in forever, and Charlotte's dying to see them again. And
Yep, that's another one I never got to see.
they're fun. They're fun. I'll put it that way.
Yep.
And I said this on our show, but I really would like to see Amtrak. He is a really cool kind of down tempo, more emotional DJ that I saw at Okeechobee last year. I think he would be great to fit in the Lane 8 Sunrise set slot that we had last year.
Okay.
Look him up. I think you'll like him.
I'll
Amtrak.
look him up.
Yeah.
Amtrak. I
Um,
saw the editors are on a lineup in Europe that's the same weekend, but so they're out, but I would love to see the editors out there.
it'd be fun. But yeah, otherwise I'm with you. I'm just down there for whatever. As long as there's a handful of things that I want to see, I'm in.
Yeah, as long as there's, one or two, then I'll be happy.
Exactly. All right, Taco, we got a few minutes left. Hit me up with your weekly pick. What's something you've been enjoying lately?
I haven't really watched much or listened to anything much. It's been kind of busy. Well, just with vehicle stuff. I've got the Montero that I'm going to do brakes on here soon, and which by the way is now the official bus tow vehicle. I put a tow hitch on it and
It
towed the bus
works?
home. Yeah.
That's funny.
So for a free car, it's definitely earning its keep.
So that's
Um,
your pick, the Montero.
Shout out to the
It up.
Montero. As far as my pick, I mean, I'm still streaming on Twitch a lot, and that's kind of what's taking up my like at home time.
What are you playing now? What are you streaming?
Just a handful of things, either Earthbound, Final Fantasy, mostly Super Nintendo games. I've got an idea for a stream coming up that I think would be pretty fun. I've got it set up to where there's a redeem on my channel where if you pick it, it loads a game instantly, and then I have to play it. So I'm gonna pick like there's like a list of like the 100 worst Super Nintendo games. I'm gonna put them all on there, and then have it to where people can just hit that button and it just loads one randomly, and then I've got to play it for however long. So I
But
think
it
that
may
could be
not be
fun.
something that you know or ever played.
No, I mean I might not know it. That's part of the challenge. It's like it might be something I've never played before.
That's pretty clever, actually. All right, I guess I can make a recommendation. All right, since we're talking about video games, like I'll tell you what's been my rotation lately. You and I are on different ends of the spectrum. So like you're playing all the old stuff, I'm playing all the new stuff. So I talked on our show, I've been playing the new God of War Ragnarok. It is amazing. It has gotten me interested in like old Norse mythology. It's really interesting. Uh,
Hmm.
Also, I had been playing Overwatch 2. I played that way too much before God of War came out. And also the new Call of Duty Warzone, which I've only played for like an hour, but it's pretty much the same thing as the one that came out a couple of years ago. Anything like that where it's just like massively multiplayer is a lot of fun. You know, I used to play.
Yeah, those are huge now.
Apex was another one that I played off and on for a good while, but I kind of preferred not having teammates because it randomly matches you up with people and you're like, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah. When you gonna stream them?
I want to. It's usually like when I'm sitting down and playing a video game, I just want to clock out. See, I'm not as good as you when it comes to this because if I'm on camera, I feel like I have to be entertaining and like making jokes. I just want to like be a zombie if I'm playing a video game for a half hour, you know?
Yeah.
But I gotta work myself up to that. Maybe I'll do it.
Well, I'm keeping the crew going, the Rue Gaming crew.
Well, I'll tell you what, maybe let me throw this by. Maybe we can do like a fundraiser event one night when everybody's got some downtime between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Let's talk. Maybe we can do like a one night
Hmm.
only thing. We can get some other Ruvians and play one of those games like Apex or Call of Duty or Fortnite or something, you know, or
Yeah,
Overwatch.
we can pick a charity to support.
Well, let's do that. We'll do that one
Yeah.
day during the holiday break when things are
Okay.
a
All
little slow.
right.
It'll be
We're
fun.
bringing it back.
Bringing it back.
Bringing it back. Yeah.
All right, Taco. It's good to get with you for this little Thanksgiving special. Hey, you know what I'm thankful for?
What's
You want
that?
to know? You.
Me?
Yes.
Oh.
Because you're doing a lot behind the scenes for the What podcast. I know you they were joking with you saying you're quiet during their interviews, but you're like the Keebler elves inside the tree that are making the cookies.
Yeah, I mean it's Bradenberry's show. I was never intended to be the host. I don't even know how I got on there. So, what am I going to ask these people? We
Well,
get on. I'm
not
not
just
an
that,
interviewer.
but you are a good dude that's been very good to a lot of us in the community, coming to like Mini Roo and hanging out and just doing all that kind of stuff. So I know you were joking about you haven't been going to Roo that long, you know, considering things, but nah, we love having you around. We're thankful for you.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean I kind of jumped all in on it. So
But
yeah,
seriously,
it's been fun. Yeah.
I'm thankful for this whole community. We've got a lot of good people that all of us know pretty well, even though we just see each other a couple of times a year. Um, I know this time of year can be a little tricky for some people, but it's nice knowing that we all have like this little festival community to fall back on and hang out with, you know?
Yeah, and I mean it's basically a family as well. So
Exactly.
yeah, definitely reach out to somebody and tell them you love them, tell them you appreciate them.
Good deal. Well, I think
Yeah.
we ended on that note, Taco. That's very heartwarming by
Okay.
our standards. Hey, where can
And
people
I'm
find your Twitch stream or more stuff from the What podcast?
Lord Taco underscore official on Twitch is where I'll make some streaming. As far as the What podcasts, we've got some more shows planned, I think.
What's
Um,
coming
you
up? Give
know,
me a hint.
I don't I don't think we really have anything, lined up. The big factor is Brad. I mean, he's super busy in New York,
Yeah.
running his radio station. So getting it nailed down for him to actually do a show, is kind of
Oh.
challenging.
Well, get Rufus on. He's been out of pocket the past couple of days. I don't know if he technically has a mouth these days. I don't know if he can speak.
Yeah, it might be tough to get him on the podcast, but yeah, it's definitely been neat seeing them kind of promote a mascot that they've had and kind of give them some personality and stuff.
I love him so much.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, you guys know where to find us. Storytime at the Rubus, all of our junk on the interwebs. I'll give one short plug. I'm playing a New Year's show as Cat Low here at Campus 805 New Year's Eve. And I am very, very,
Ooh,
very, very excited about that. You should come, Taco. If you don't have any plans, you can crash over here.
I got no bus.
I know, I know. One of these days, I'll meet you up here. But yep, I guess that's it. Anything else, Taco?
I think that covers it. So,
All right, awesome.
thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me. Everybody get out there and radiate positivity and have a good Thanksgiving.
Check it out.